Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about one more snippet of evidence that probably will be prominent in the upcoming trial of Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect in Kirk's killing. Let me preface by saying that what we learned as he was taken into custody is he is not cooperating with authorities. A lawyer or someone got to him, and just from his own self-interest, that is likely smart. He can probably only hurt himself, but it does mean that the few little snippets we have, it'll be a trial with a lot of forensics and pictures and casings on bullets and stuff. But then these two little statements, the one we had before, where he told his family that it was he. And now we have one more, and it's the within the circle that seems to have been Robinson's whole life, just another story. These killings occur, and this is me just talking from a law enforcement experience point of view. You look right away for one of two models, the kind of group quasi-terrorist gang that has encouraged the violence, and then the lone wolf, hardest of all to get. And it looks like we have, from the snippets, again, beyond a reasonable doubt, et cetera, et cetera. Let me just, they say once again, and I did a Substack on this yesterday, must keep law enforcement and these political debates separate. What Trump and his gang are doing in the public sphere to absolutely trash Democrats, maybe use it as an excuse for some kind of crackdown on individual reporters and the like. We'll get to that more later today. Is reprehensible, unconscionable, etc. There's one thing and one thing I want to say about the crime as a crime. Terrible for Kirk family, etc. But that's a standing objection here. But anyway, now going into it from my law enforcement vantage point. So this is someone who fits into the lone wolf category, which is the hardest to know and preempt. And we have one more little snippet. So he seems to have lived on this account that is both kind of, a private chat signal style coterie, but also a gaming thing. That seems to have been his life. There are mystery times to fill in here, from the time the 4.0 high achieving student gets a good scholarship to a Utah school, goes off and lasts a semester, and some years pass. Something for all of this to come out. But so far it hasn't included really sort of deep kind of diluted propaganda about fill in the blank. It's him as a gamesman who decided to shoot and kill Charlie Kirk, and that vacuum, and it is a vacuum, is so unfortunate because it lets the president, the commander-in-chief, step into the void, and rather than doing, again, my Substack's about this yesterday, what any president, Chester Arthur, here's the name that we don't think of too much, but any president in history do the right thing of calling for unity, nonviolence, etc. You have Trump using to roil up the country, try to spew hate, focus and blame it on one side only. And really, who's that side? It is Democrats, but it's really the side that criticizes Trump somehow in his diluted sociopathy. That's what's happened here. Okay, but back to the case. So you have a couple little points of communication within this group in the 36 hours while they are looking for him. And this is this group on Discord. And we already knew that a member of his family reached out saying Robinson had implied that he'd committed a crime. This is in the family now. But here is on Discord, and Discord itself steps up and wants to right away be like, we are not crazy radical types. We've done an internal investigation. We're cooperating fully with law enforcement. That's the group, the Discord that he had such a role in. So Discord cooperating releases a snippet, and this group, it's an informal group of about 30 people. One of them wrote, not Robinson, wrote, Charlie Kirk got shot. And then another wrote, I just saw the video. Holy shit. Bro didn't deserve to go out like that sad. You know, what you're hearing from a lot of people, whatever you think about Kirk, this is, completely tragic. And then no response. Robinson did not weigh in until the next day with a message that said, bad news. And this is the new snippet and the one that the jury's going to hear again and again. I'm surrendering through a sheriff's friend in a few moments, he said at 8 p.m. in the evening. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. First, I just want to note, again, I'm in my law enforcement guise, but before he surrenders to authorities, he thanks all his friends and expresses gratitude. This is at the tail end of what must have been the most stressful 36 hours of his life. And 1 hour later, he is in custody. And so that is that snippet. We have whatever he told the family member, and that will be admissible as a matter of evidence because it will be, it won't be hearsay. I'm getting a little evidence prosecutor technical here, but when something that the criminal defendant says to someone gets over hearsay objections because it's defined as not hearsay. So that will come in. Oh, there's one other little snippet. This has just been reported also on a different Discord chat group in that conversation. So I guess there's this kind of loose-limbed 30 people here, 30 people there. And again, they're about video games. And he was about video games. He joked that a doppelganger, kind of an SAT word there, and from this straight-A student, was trying to get him in trouble after law enforcement released images of a shooting suspect who resembled him. So the Utah governor, who I'll be speaking about later, I think he has been really responsible at first, but now seems to be laying blame because Trump wants him to on Democrats. But he said, because of that, Robinson's friends didn't think it was actually him. So that's one little snippet, a doppelganger trying to get him in. So that shows that he knows it certainly looks like him. And then the thing he says to his family, and then this last point, I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. Now, again, this is my prosecutorial hat on, and the thing I'm thinking of way in the future, but it will affect the dynamic of the trial, is this guy going to testify? And I think he's not going to testify. He would be so totally tied in knots. So it's going to be this that you're going to hear again and again. And ask yourself, it doesn't say I did it, but I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. And it's got this kind of life is over. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. So that's the sort of, new little piece of evidence in a case that's going to have not much by way of comments from him or from friends. There'll be some forensics, and they may be able to tie it more to him. There seem to be these signs. Again, this Discord video game group seems just real, which itself is saying, not us, we're good, we're cooperating, our guys are not like that, seems to be a really sort of central part of this story. Okay, meanwhile, the other part of the story marches on. We don't have to get into it now, but there's all indications that it'll continue, including with these pernicious suggestions from the administration. We're going to go after people now, use it as a pretext to go after individuals. We now know Trump has filed an actual 1.5 or however many billion-dollar defamation lawsuit against named reporters in the New York Times. All of that marches on in precisely the way it never has, and you don't want it to, where an episode of national violence takes place. But here, the president not only is not helping, but he's affirmatively hurting. And so it falls to us, the patriots, to insist on the way things, have to be, and on separating out violence in law enforcement, bad, law enforcement, good, best case you can, and then all the terrible roiled propaganda and division that is our lot in the United States in 2025 under Donald Trump. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.